to today's session. Let us start by giving you all a quick brief on what Octanet is. So, Tech Octanet is a budding startup headquartered in Bhubaneswar, specializing in IT solutions across diverse sectors including e commerce, real estate, automation, and personalized business application. Our primary focus is to provide affordable services to startups, aiding them into their digital initiatives. In addition to our core services, we are expanding into the corporate training sector, aiming to equip future corporate employees with a solid foundation. We also address student needs by identifying academic project requirements, internship opportunities, and offering comprehensive solutions. We are proud to be incorporated as an organization with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, registered with MSME, and approved by AICTE for internship programs. Also, our commitment to quality is underscored by ISO 9001 2015 certification, ensuring that every project we undertake reaches highest standards of excellence. Okay, thank you so much. That was all. Let us now stage our instructor and start today's session.
Yeah, like, you can include all the programming languages which you know. You can let me know in the chat, like whether you know Java already, or whether you know Python already, or the languages which you know, along with the year, like which year you belongs. Like if you are doing your second year in college, you can mention that and with your college name, so that it will help me to like structure my way of teaching. So if you people have programming knowledge already, so I will not concentrate much on the very basic things like what is an identifier and all, as you all know about it. So I just want you people to. Yes, so like I'll wait for a couple of minutes and we'll begin the session at 5:05. Meanwhile, I want you people to let the programming languages which you know, and the college from where you are, like, so that I can structure my way of teaching. Okay, so Java 2023 passed out. Okay. Second year BCA. Okay, so I mean, I want others also to let me know in the chat, guys. Narayana Engineering College. Okay. I mean, like you people keep on posting, within 2 minutes I'll connect again. Like, Yes. Okay. So, guys, you're from. I think I'm audible, right? Second year. Okay. So most of you all from second year only. Final year. Okay. Currently studying Java. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, before that, I just want to ask one more question for you. Like, how many people, are very interested in learning about DSA, or who all know what is DSA, and how many people are working on it? Because it's not it's very important to learn a language, okay, but we have to know the practical use of learning something, right? So if you are learning Java, if you're learning uh, advanced Java concepts, like if you are learning Spring Boot, all those things and all, you can develop a complete entire application with the help of Java, okay. So for software development, you can use Java by using Java Spring Boot and all. Or else, personally, I used to use the Java programming language only for competitive programming purpose. I mean, means if I want to solve any coding problems at lead code, means I used to make use of that. So that's why I asked you people, I mean, do you all know what is competitive programming and all, so that it will be easy for me to teach you as well. Because here, whenever I'm teaching you some concepts, if any DSA algorithm you know is related to that, I'll also take that. For example, if you're seeing about Java arrays, means I'll also teach you about the bucketing algorithm which we'll use, or the two pointers method which we will use, all those things. So that's why I just want to know whether you people have any idea on that. If yes, you can tell us. If no, you can tell no. Or if you are interested, you can let me know, so that I'll teach you that. If not, you can also let me know about that as well. And in order to introduce about me, I'm a Java developer. I'm also like you people only. Like I'm also exploring Java, and this is not basically a classroom teaching. It's not something that's going to be where I used to talk and you used to listen. No, it's a kind of, it's a hub, where we can share our knowledge. So you guys can also, I'll learn from you guys as well. So okay, just need, drop in the comments whether you people are interested in knowing more about DSA and all. Am I audible now? Guys, am I audible? Yeah, okay. So you're currently studying DSA from YouTube, but it would be really helpful if I could learn it live. Of course, I'll not be covering the entire DSA stuff and all, Gia, because we will be having more concepts there, right? Or we have many important concepts like greedy algorithms, dynamic programming, all those things. We have many algorithms. But I'll be teaching you the basic things which is quite required. Also, I'll be giving you some resources where you can refer to that. And do you DSA improves, and it is, yes, of course, DSA is quite important when you are looking for interviews, because as now everybody, most of them are from second year, right? So when you are going and sitting in your final year, or maybe, okay, Sushma. So in your final year or in your third year, the people, they are going to question only about DSA for you. I mean, of course, I'll be also telling you what and all the various rounds which we used to have in interviews and all. I'll be telling you that as well. But DSA is one of the core important thing where you want to focus a lot, because it's not about your learning Java. You have to know how to apply this Java skills in order to solve those problems. Because how much ever big companies you take, Mang also they are going to test your DSA skills. But of course you will have your like application development rounds also. Okay, so cool. Like this- once again I'll share my screen. Okay. So first, I would like to show you the lesson plan which I have developed. Okay, because if it's helpful for you guys, like, or if you need any changes, you can let me know. I'll share my screen. Okay, once again, guys. Yes, my screen is being shared, right? Guys, are you able to see my screen? Okay. So the things which we'll be covering is we'll be first looking into like the overview of Java, means what Java is, and the key features which is available in Java, and like the structure, how a Java program looks. Because what every people will think is, if we write everything enclosed in public static void main, it's called Java, right? So we have to know why we are writing public static void main and what is the use of all those things. And we'll be looking on into the variables and data types and the operators in Java, and the control structures. Control structures means the control statements, like um, it is also known as like looping statements and all, or conditional statements also it is known as. Like we'll be seeing the if else block which is available in Java, and the switch case, and also the many looping statements like for, while, do while, all those things we'll be seeing. And another one is the methods. Methods is nothing but like, if you people are from like Python background, whatever we used to call as a function, here we'll be calling it as method. Okay, and we'll be seeing about array strings. Okay, and also the oops concepts, which is quite very 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 important, because it's not like you people I mean like know Java in a very basics manner. No, it is something like you have to also know about the oops concepts, because that actually like forms the main pillar in Java. So there are rounds like like system design or low level design rounds, which some companies will be like testing your knowledge on that as well. For example, they'll be giving you a problem statement. Okay, and you are asked to develop a console based application on that. So if you want to develop some application on that, means you must know like the basic classes and objects, how it works, and when we can do a function call, when we can pass an object, how to like maintain a complete flow in order to deploy, or in order to develop my system, my application entirely using Java. I mean, like the main thing which I'm trying to convey over here is oops concept is the baseline. Like it is a thing which is very, very important, and which adds meaning to Java. For example, if you are taking Python, okay, normally if you want to print any statement, you'll be just giving print, and you'll be enclosing the characters in a string manner, and that will be given as the output, right? But if you want to just like write a code to print a normal simple statement in Java also, you have to enclose it only inside a class, and inside that you'll be having a main method, and inside that method only you will be able to print with the help of system.out.println method. Okay, next like this is the detailed section of what and all the things which is covered in day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. And in between all these things, I'll also be covering the some of the DSA algorithms, and I'll also be giving you the resources from where you can learn. Of course, it's not going to be a marketing and all. When I was preparing for my interviews and when I was preparing DSA, I used to follow those materials which helped me a lot, and still I'm learning DSA. I'm not telling I'm pro in that and all. Okay, so still I'm learning DSA, so I'm using those materials as well. So if you have come across any other materials which is quite very helpful, you can drop that in the comment as well, like whenever I'm trying to show any resources, so it will also help me personally. Okay, so yes, so these are all the things. So guys, are you okay with the lesson plan? I'll share my entire window, because if I'm using Eclipse and all, I want to show you, right? Yes. Yes, so guys, are you okay with the lesson plan? If yes, we can go ahead with the day one thing. Can anyone respond here? If you're okay, we can move go ahead, or if you need any changes in the things which has to be taught to you. Okay, cool. Okay, so first things first, like whenever you're learning about a language, you want to know some basic introduction about it, right? And please don't skip anything, because for example, whenever you are being, for example, imagine you're sitting in an interview hall, and you're sitting in front of the panel, and they'll be, I mean, like, if you have mentioned in your resume that I know Java, and if you know like you are telling that you know Java, people will be asking you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so if you're scaling yourself somewhere between 8 to 10, or 9 or 7 to 10, something like that, people are going to question you only on some advanced concepts in Java. Okay, and if you're somewhere giving a middle scale or medium level, they are going to test you on the intermediate level. And if you're telling yourself, rating yourself as 4 to 5, they're actually going to test your basics. And remember, it is not something the quantity how much you are learning. It is not something like how many tech stacks you know. It is in depth how much you know, really. Like, means a person who has who has only basic knowledge of 10 tech stacks. Like, for example, let's assume a person A and B, and the person B is going to have knowledge on 10 tech stacks, but he is not pro in anything. He is just like a beginner in everything. Okay, in every 10 tech stacks, a person A, he knows only one tech stack, but he is very pro in that. He knows in depth of all the things on the over that tech stack. Means that person A is gonna be hired, because it's not the quantity, it's the quality which matters. So whenever you're learning Java as well, you have to know each and everything. Of course it is basics, but people are just going to test your basic skills on things, so that they just want whether your basement, I mean, like your basement is correct or not. Like, okay, so of course, like, in order to know more about Java, it has been developed by the Sun Microsystems. And the person who you are seeing in the screen is nothing but James Gosling, who is termed as the yes, who is termed as the father of Java. Okay, and of course, this is going to be the symbol of Java, and the main important thing right over here, object oriented programming. Okay, so OOPS is known as a sorry, Java is known as a OOPS language, because we used to follow the OOPS concept everywhere in Java. Okay, for example, like in order to tell you what is object and class means, for example, let's take out a scenario, okay, where wait one second. Okay, so let's take a scenario where I want to store the record of 50, or I mean, like some 1,000 students, storing records of 1,000 students where they belong to a single department called computer science. Okay, so object is nothing but it is a real world entity. Okay, object means it is real world entity. Here, object is a real world entity. Students are the real world entity. Okay, and class is nothing but blueprint of an object. For example, the 1,000 students will not be same. 1,000 students like in appearance or like in their performance level or somewhere they differ. These 1,000 objects are not same, they are different, but these 1,000 objects have some attributes. Once again, once again. Okay, so I mean, guys, like if you're not understanding anywhere, you can then and there you can stop me and like ask me questions. Okay, yes. So these 1,000 students, they are not same, they differ in I mean some of their properties or some of their characteristics and all, but these 1,000 students will have something which is common to everybody. For example, these 1,000 students, even though they are they differ in the way of their characteristics and all, they have something called as a name. Everyone has a name. They have something called as roll number, and they have something called as class to which they belong to, and they have department is computer science over here, and this is common to every student. Okay, and then what, they have something called as CGPA. Although these values will not be same for all the 1,000 students, but all those students will be having this common attributes which the values will be different. For example, if a person is having 10 CGPA, another person might have 9 or 8, but they'll be having some kind of CGPA, right? So these are all the attributes. You can also call it as class attributes. Okay, and the another name of this class attributes is instance variables. Okay, so whenever you are defining a class is actually going to be a blueprint of an object. Okay, these are all the attributes. Next, you'll be having methods. Okay, for example, students might differ, but everybody will be having marks. So you can have the method like display marks or display their skills. Everybody will be having some skills. These are all the methods which we can invoke for that particular student's class. Display info, personal info, and all those things. So whenever you want to create a blueprint of an object, you'll be going with the class. So we will be giving class student, and inside this you'll be giving all the instant variables and methods. So this is actually a class and an object. Okay, and like you will be writing a class, I mean, like don't worry if all these things are really high for you. Okay, we'll be learning, we'll be seeing examples of all these things in our further sessions. So just I'm defining you of what and all the things, and why Java is termed as a oops language, and what is the meaning of class and object really. Like, okay, you just want to have some knowledge on all these things. Okay, yep. So everything what we write in Java is in the format of classes and objects, and as an oops language. And yes, multi-threading, if time permits I will cover multi-threading as well. But like if you people know Java, please do explore about multi-threading as well, because multi-threading is a process where it is actually a mechanism where multiple processes can be run by using threads. Okay, and it is something like how actually your programs inside means how different processes inside your program it actually works. So if time permits I'll cover all those things. So if you people have any doubts regarding the basic introduction which we have seen until now, you can let me know in the chat, or else we are good to proceed further. Guys, is my pace okay? Like, are you able to follow, or am I speaking in a very, like speed? Is my speed okay, or do you want me to go slow? And today, mostly, it will not be a practical session. But we are just going to cover what is JDK, JRE, and all those things because you want to know the basics and all. From tomorrow, it is completed. It's gonna be coding sessions only. Okay. Where what about others, guys? Where like you will be coding with me parallelly. Okay. And for Java, for people who have already some knowledge on Java, are you people using the IDE or are you using online compilers? We have two methods for that. You can either go with IDE. IDE means you can either go with IntelliJ or Eclipse. Okay, and I'm using Eclipse, but I prefer IntelliJ because I think the UA will be good over there. Okay, it's your convenience only, or else online compiler is also fine. What about others? Okay, yes, I think we are good to go. I mean, it's a see, guys. If I'm going to ask quiz means, please don't go to the internet, refer somewhere, and just put the answers. Okay, whatever comes in your mind, you can let me know so that it's just going to be a discussion session, right? So if you're wrong, I'll correct you. I'm not going to judge you anywhere. Okay, so you can be very, like you can open up yourself. So just from the things which I have said and from the things what you have understood, you can let me know the answer for this question. If you don't know, you can straight away you can put like I don't know, like I don't know what the answer must be or how the answer must be framed, or I'm not getting the things which you have said. So that I'll again repeat everything from first. That's not an issue for me. Okay. So it's quite a very simple thing which we have just discussed about this. Why Java is an object oriented programming language. Please don't refer anything. I want you people to, like let me know the answer in the chat. Why we are calling Java as an oops language. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. I want you people to respond. Like in your own words. I know these are all very basic stuffs for the people who have intermediate knowledge on Java, but I think not everybody knows Java over here. So I think it's good to start from like the beginning. Today we'll be learning, we'll be seeing the most basic things, I guess most probably. But from tomorrow we'll be level upping things. Okay. Okay. Good, Jia. I mean, it's not like it uses. It's not it uses real world entities, but like it does. I mean, yeah, it does not use any real world entities, but inside everything the program or code whichever we wrap inside a Java program, it is going to be termed as classes and objects only. An object, it represents only object represents real world entities. Okay, good. Shushma, because everything is an object in Java. No, I mean, yeah, everything is an object in Java, but we have methods, variables as well, right? So we'll be writing a class for the objects of or for the real world entities whichever we are using, and then we'll be calling, we'll be invoking the class with the help of the objects. Okay. And one more thing I just want you people to know, for example, if you are writing this class means, okay, if you want to, if you want to use the methods means functions or the variables that belongs to this class, you will be creating objects. Okay, so that's why we are calling it as everything will be in the structure of classes and objects, and that's why it is termed as OOPS concept, OOPS language. Okay, good. Only two people are active, I guess. I don't know what others are doing, but that's fine. Okay, and now let us know, like, we are writing a particular program, and when we click the run button, it is, like some internal things are being done, and we are just getting the output. As a developer, we have to know how actually internal things is getting working. Means how, after writing a high level programming language, the logics are being compiled properly, and how we are getting the correct output as a result, and all we have to know, right? And whenever you're writing a Java program, the three main pillars behind the execution of a program is going to be JVM, JRE, and JDK. Okay, like, please concentrate more on these things, because people might question you from JVM, because JVM is actually going to be a very very supportive execution engine whenever you're trying to run your code. Okay, and yes, so here JVM, this is actually the architecture diagram for JVM. So this is actually, oh, so one second, this is the architecture diagram for JVM. Okay, where, and one more thing you just want to know, okay, whenever you are writing a Java file, you will be saving with .java extension. If you are using any compilers and IDEs, it will automatically store with .java extension only. Okay, after compilation, when your file is being compiled, this Java file is converted into a class file, and the extension of that class file will be dot class. Okay, so that's why here you'll be able to see demo dot class. Okay, after compilation you'll be compiling. Okay, so once you compile your Java code, it will be converted into an object code, or it will be converted into a class file with dot class extension, and that class file is being sent into the JVM, and all the operations will take place. Don't worry, we'll be seeing JVM as a bigger picture in the next slide. Okay, and with, I mean, here we have execution area, right? Execution engine, right? Sorry, execution engine, right? So here only with the help of this execution engine, the code is passed into the interpreter. Okay, and this interpreter will be compile, I mean, will be computing the result, and will be providing us the correct result. Okay, so JVM, as the name suggests, the full form is Java Virtual Machine. So everything is going to be virtual over here, so nothing is, you cannot see anything, like, as it's virtual. Of course, it only drives the entire thing for executing your Java code, but you cannot see this anywhere. Okay, but when it comes to JDK and JRE, you'll be able to see. I'll be showing you that. Okay, so JVM is nothing but it is a runtime environment in which Java bytecode can be executed. It's just provide you a runtime environment. Okay, and it doesn't exist physically. Okay, we'll be seeing more about the architecture of JVM in the next slide. Don't worry. Yes, so when you come to Java runtime environment, JRE, okay, it helps you in providing the runtime environment along with the set of libraries which you have. Okay, for example, your Java class file is, I mean, your Java file is converted into a class file, and it is being sent to the JVM. Okay, whenever you are writing a code, it is quite normal that you are using some predefined Java libraries, right? There are many predefined libraries which Java has, like SQL. I mean, you can also connect your Java code with the HTTPs and all. We have something like the client socket and all we have. I'm not sure about all those libraries, but we have certain libraries for certain things, right? So in your Java file, you are importing all those libraries. Let's say you are importing. Okay. So when it is converted into a class file, and when the JVM wants to, compute the particular methods which you have imported from other library files, that library files must be available, right? For example, what I'm trying to convey over here is, let's say if you're going to use something, if your Java file is something like this, you have given some import java.sql.star. Okay, and you have used some methods from the SQL library. There are many methods and libraries which are predefined in Java, right? I think it's common in all the programming languages. Okay, so if you're going to use some methods from the SQL library, and when your JVM tries to compute this particular method, it needs the SQL library to execute your particular method, right? For example, let's say something. For example, let's say you are having, it's only for example, some sample method you have used somewhere in your code, and this is a method which is available in your SQL class. Means in order to compute the result, it needs the sample class of this SQL library. Okay, for retrieving that sample class, it actually needs the SQL library. Only if SQL library is being imported, I mean, only if it is imported, you can use the methods of those particular class, right? So that libraries are actually provided by JRE. So JRE provides you the set of libraries which are predefined already, plus other files whichever your JVM requires during the runtime. Okay, so this is JVM. Okay, as a separate entity, this is JVM, and the JVM plus the library set together it is called as, my mouse pad is not working. Together it is called as JRE. Okay, JVM along with the library sets which are actually predefined. Okay, so that is called as JRE. And next thing is Java Development Kit. As I've already said, you like I personally use Java as a programming language only. Like I mean, programming language in solving DSA stuffs. Okay, but I will not use Java for developing applications and all. Of course, like I want to learn Spring Boot, but until now I'll be using Java only for coding. I mean, coding the lead code problems and all. Okay, but Java can actually be used in order to develop applications as well. For example, um, there are many companies who are using core Java for developing their entire application. For example, in Zoho and all, their products they are developing only with the help of Java. So they are using, like Spring Boot and all those things and all. And also, Java is quite very powerful that like you can also write machine learning models. You can also develop machine learning models using Java and all. But I don't know how to develop and all. But you can use to develop. So we have such a powerful programming language. Okay, so you can do everything with Java. But the thing, normal machine learning programs are being carried out by Python only, right? So as it is easy to use all those things. But there are companies and there are products where which is built like corely by using Java only. So for them and all, if you're going to build software applications using Java, you need some predefined toolkits. Like it can be like applets, servlets, and all we used to have in Java. Okay, so it includes, yeah. Additionally, the development tools is also included right over here. So we have seen JVM as a single entity. JVM plus library set, it is called as JRE. So JRE plus the set of development tools which we have, it is togetherly called as Java Development Kit. Okay, so I'll show you. As I already said, JVM we cannot see it because it's like a virtual machine, but entirely that only will help your code to get executed and it will only provide you the output. Okay, but this JRE and JDK are something like the supporting tools. So whenever your JVM wants to execute the code and if it needs any development tools or if it needs any libraries which is to be imported or used, that time they help in providing all those things. So I'll be showing you, wait, I'll be showing you JRE and JDK. Whenever you're downloading Java itself, you'll be able to see all those things. Guys, if you have doubt anywhere, you can let me know, okay? Yes, so see, you're able to see here. I mean, is it visible for you guys? A JRE system library. Yes, here we used to have, here. Here we used to have many things like java.base, instrument, logging, RMI, SE, SQL. These are all the different libraries which we have. Okay, so Dynalink, Hotspot, I mean HTTP server, everything we have, right? Okay, so these are all, it comes under JRE. Okay, and the JDK. See here you have JDK.carsets. Okay, JDK.HTTP server, jdk.internal.opt. Like these are all the different development toolkits which are available. Okay, so whenever your JVM needs any libraries or tools, this JRE and JDK, it helps you in providing these libraries. So if it provides you these libraries only, you'll be able to make use of those methods which you have defined in your function, I mean code, right? So yes, this is all about it. Next, we'll see how actually the JVM works, which is quite very important to learn. This is the overall architecture diagram of JRE. Okay, do you have any doubts until this? Because everything revolves around the object. Yep. Okay. Java Virtual Machine, Java Runtime Environment, Java Development Kit. Yes. Okay, guys, are you okay with until, I mean, are you guys getting the idea of what is JRE and JDK? Was this clear to you all? Anyone can respond. And after seeing JVM, no, I'll be giving some quick introduction for DSA. And like after 1 hour, we'll take a 5 minute break where you people can go and like, please don't go after 5 minutes. You have to again come and like join to the session, but just to have a small break, we'll have a 5 minute break. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jia. Okay, so let's see what is JVM. And guys, like if I'm boring you with the theory stuff, so you can let me know so that I'll show all other things as well to you. Like we'll be seeing on TSA, all those things. Okay, but only today it is gonna be like this because as it is a introduction class. Okay, we'll be I mean a bit of theory only. Okay, but if you're feeling bored, you can let me know. Okay, yes. Next thing, we'll be seeing the structure of JVM. Okay, so first I have already said you that my class file, it is like generated from my Java file. So once my Java file is getting compiled, okay, it is converted into an object file where the extension is dot class. Okay, and nextly my dot class file is passed into the JVM. Okay, and in the JVM we have three important parts. One is the class loader subsystem, and another one is runtime data area, and another one is execution engine. These are the three important areas, three important support system for JVM. Okay, so first it is the class loader subsystem. Okay, so here we have three things. One is loading, linking, and initializations. Okay, so we'll see each and everything. Okay, loading, as the name suggests. Okay, loading. So what and all your like if you have imported some libraries in your code, or if you have made use of any toolkits in your Java code, all those things are being loaded. Okay, I mean it is supported by JRE and JDK, and those things are actually loaded only if it is loaded, then only you'll be able to make use of the methods and the functions which is present over there, right? So it will be loaded. Okay, next thing is linking. Okay, in linking we have three things like verify, prepare, and resolve. So it actually, in linking, it actually like checks all the syntaxes of your entire program, whether you have followed the correct syntax or not. Okay, and it prepares your code for further execution. Okay, it is just going to have a check on your complete code. And next one is initializations. Okay, initialization means you're going to give some value. Okay, whenever you're writing a particular Java code, there are some variables which is called as constant variables. Okay, or static variables, means their values doesn't change throughout the code. Okay, for example, you are going to maintain some global constants. Constant means, right, means there are some variables whose value will not be changed, whose values will not be static. It will be it is not dynamic, it is static, right? So if you're giving something like static a is equal to 5, this this is going to, like the value of a is 5 everywhere, like everywhere in your entire code. Even you cannot change that particular value, so it comes under like some kind of global variable. Okay, so these kind of static variables and the constant variables are being initialized in this phase, because for the static variable the values can be assigned only when the class loads. Sorry. Okay, so only for a single time, only when the class is being executed, only for the very first time the assignment of these values for the static variables will happen, and after that you cannot change so that's why it is called as constant variables. Okay, they'll be having a constant value throughout your code. So that kind of variables are being initialized in this phase, okay, in your initialization phase. So once everything is being loaded and the verification of the syntaxes is being done, and once all your static variables are being initialized, okay, what happens is next it is passed into the runtime data area. Okay, so this is quite important for you to, like for example, let's take a program of 1,000 lines. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, right? So the program has 1,000 lines, but it's not sure that my program is going to be, like executed in a sequential manner. Okay, for people who have some programming knowledge already, I think you'll be able to connect it. Like for example, there could be some methods which we have used, there could be some functions which we have used, and there could be some function calls which you have made in your program. So it is not like if I'm going to have 1,000 lines of code in my program, it is not something like from line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 1,000 sequentially my execution will happen. No, if I'm going to make a function call and the function is there at line number 3, again the control goes over 3, it gets executed. And again, if I'm doing the same function call at line number 150, again it goes to my third line to execute that function, right? So it is not sequential, it is actually the workflow, the flow of how your code works. It depends on the logic which you are writing, it depends on various factors. Okay, like the function calls, methods, and function methods both the same, the method calls, the methods, and all those things, right? For example, um, I have said, right, in line number 3, let's define a method. Okay, I'll use Eclipse itself. Okay, I'll take this itself, or it is okay. And guys, one more thing. Okay, so here my file name is student.java, right? If you're going to make your class as public class student, don't take this and all extends and all, it comes in oops concept. Okay, I'll teach you that. See, if you are going to give public class and the class name, whatever class name, if you're going to use public class, then your class name and your file name must be same. Here public class student means student, the file name must be student.java. Okay, but here it is class department. It is not public, right? And you can have only one public class, and the public class name must be equal to the file name. Okay, of course this class is also public, it's not private and all, but you can define public class. If you're defining public class, means your file name must be matching with the respective class name. Okay, and every time your execution of your code starts only from the main class. Even though your main class is public or not, it is actually going to start from your main class. And inside this, we have the main method. I'll be explaining you these things and all. It is just in order to show you how actually a workflow is being developed. Okay. For example, yes, now I'm having a code of 50 lines, say. Okay. This is a 50 lines code. And it doesn't mean that first my this will execute one line 1 2 3 4 5 until 50 it will be getting executed. No, my control comes over the main class. Okay, from here only my execution will start. So inside my main class, my control goes over here. Here it is being printed, and here I'm going to create an object. I mean, see, if you're not getting the things, that's fine. Okay, but just I'm telling you, just listen to the workflow of how the flow goes. That's it. So I have created an object. Okay, I'll uncomment this. Okay, so my line number 43 will be getting executed. 44, 45, 46 to be getting executed, but these are comments, so it will not be carrying any I mean, it will not be performed and all, it will not be computed and all. Next, line number 47, I have called the display method of department class. Okay, so it is polymorphism, that's why. So I mean, the control comes over here, control comes here in the 34th line, it will be getting executed. Means what I'm trying to convey over here is it is not sequential. Okay, it is something which is related to the logic which you have developed. So uh that flow must be actually like maintained somewhere, right? After this, the control must go there, and the control must come here, and control must come here. Like there must be like a stack which is actually used to maintain all these things, in which line number, after which line this must be executed. Like for example, after 40th line which must be getting executed, after this which like like it will be forming a sequence of processes which is need to be like executed. It is actually maintained in a stack format. Okay, that is actually taken care of the runtime data area. So method area is nothing but it is actually the place where all the information related to your methods, like what and all the methods which you have. Okay, sorry. In the method area you will be having the information about the class. Okay, what and all the classes you have inside that class, what and all the instance variables you have, and what and all the methods you have. So the information which is related to the class will be stored in the method area. Okay, and in your heap area all your variables will be getting stored. Okay, and in your stack area, the sequence of how the workflow must be executed, that is actually stored in the stack area. Okay, so I have introduced the concept like multi-threading, right? So the processes, it will be getting executed only with the help of threads. Thread is nothing but it is a subunit of a process. So like multi-threading, you have to just have a knowledge on that because it's quite important. If time permits, I'll teach you that as well. So like every process will be executed only with the help of threads. So the flow in which the threads will be getting executed, the lines which is going to be getting executed will be stored. Okay, and this is the addresses of that particular threads. Then after all these things, it comes under the execution engine. Okay, and this and all the things which will be happening in a parallel way. Means at a single time only one thread will be getting executed. Okay, but after one thread is getting executed, it will come to execution engine, and it goes again to the runtime data area to find what is the next code or next thread to be executed, and all those things will be taking into action. And in execution engine we have two important things, which is interpreter and which is JIT compiler. JIT compiler is nothing but it is just in time compiler. So as it is interpreter, I just want you people to let me know in the chat like what I mean. Have you heard the word interpreter before? If you have heard, what is the one difference between a compiler and an interpreter? I just want you people to respond in the chat. What is the difference between compiler and an interpreter? Like if you don't know, you can let me know. What is the I mean, I think people are from, I mean, programming languages, right? So what is the difference between compiler and an interpreter? A normal one liner is enough. Guys, are you there? Or are you guys slept, like, as it is a theory session? Please don't sleep if it is boring. Ha, good, Sushma. What about compiler? Compiling code line by line. Okay. Yeah. Interpreter is compiling code line by line, and what an compiler does. I mean, the way how it executes your code. Yep, you're correct. So, good, good. I mean, good, Sushma, Ankit, and Jia. Once again. Yeah, people, you are correct. So, what an interpreter does is it executes your code line by line. Okay, but whereas your compiler, it actually translates your, like, it actually converts your code. Okay, it actually carries the process of translation, but it will be executing your code at an entire way. For example, if you're writing 50 lines, all the 50 lines at a one run itself, it will be getting executed. But if you're using interpreter, line by line, it gets executed. Okay, so that is the main advantage of using interpreter, because um, if your program has any error at line number 3, and if you're having 1,000 lines of code, once your line number 3 is getting executed itself, your program halts, stating that you have an error at line number 3. Please do correct it. Actually, it saves the time and as well as the performance as well. Because instead of executing all the 1,000 lines and then prompting the error, it's good that after executing 2 lines itself, it's giving us the error in the line number 3, right? So that's it. So next important thing is JIT, which is nothing but just in time compiler. Okay, see, for example, I have a function, um, public void, something like display. Okay, I have some method like this, and I'm going to just give, I'll write s.o.p, which means system.out.println hello. Okay, for example, let's have some method like this, and I'm going to call this method, say, 20 times. Okay, say 20 or 30 times. Let's say we are going to call this particular method. Okay, I mean, instead of executing it 30 times, it doesn't make sense, right? So what happens is, for example, I'll tell line number 1. This is, for example, this is not the way how to write a Java code. We'll see that as well. Just for explaining things, I'm doing this. 4, 5. Okay, in line number 6, let's say I'm calling the method display. It's a void only, right? And in line number 10, I'm calling. And also, let's say, some in line number 50, I'm calling. Or like this, I'm going to call my method 30 times. Means instead of executing it again and again, what my interpreter does is, see, first time when it encounters the display method at line number 6, it will execute the entire function, and it will store its instance in my JIT compiler. Okay, it will execute and it will store it in the JIT compiler. So the executed code, the executed display method is being stored over here in the JIT, just in time compiler. And again, when my control comes over here, and when it comes to the line number 10, the entire function will not be getting executed. Instead of that, it will go to my JIT compiler, just in time compiler, and it retrieves the particular information from here, and it will be getting executed. Okay, and when it comes, in line number 50, it will not again go and does the complete execution of the method right from the beginning. It will actually go search the JIT compiler. If the function is present already, if the executed function is present already, directly from that it will be executing and it will be retrieving the correct result. If the function is not found in the JIT compiler only, it will go and execute that particular function. Okay, so this is the example of, this is the usage of just-in-time compiler. So if you are going to make use of a function like 50 times or 100 times, instead of executing of entire function, like here I have written a simple function, but let's take in a real world scenario, you will be writing function with many number of lines. Okay, so instead of executing the same thing again and again, it will be executed and it will be stored in the JIT compiler. And like every time when your function call is being made, it actually goes and checks in the JIT compiler. If it's not there, then only it compiles the entire method. So this is the example, this is the usage of JIT compiler, which actually helps you a lot in improving the performance. Okay, and next one here is the garbage collector. Okay, in order to know garbage collector, you just want to know about scope of the variables. Scope of a variable, or you can also call it as a lifetime of a variable. Not only variable, a method, anything variable. Okay. Oh, sorry, variable spelling. Yes. So, for example, lifetime of a variable. It means like you're writing a particular. You're going to use a particular variable. Okay, and that particular variable will be able to be accessed only in a certain region, right? For example, I'll be showing an example. Yes. For example, here we have used the variables a and b. Okay, we have defined them and we have used them only in this method or inside this class. I cannot go and call, or I cannot try to retrieve the value of a and b anywhere outside the class, right? Outside the student class, I'll not be able to use those variables. So once this class is over, once this class is being executed, the lifetime of the variables which is present inside that particular class is also over. Means, for example, if you're going to give some if you're going to give something like dummy variable. Okay, dummy variable as 5. Okay, so here inside this void method, you have declared a variable called dummy and you have assigned the value 5. And if you're trying to retrieve the value of that particular variable anywhere outside that method, will it have scope? No. You will not be able to retrieve. See, an error is being prompted stating that it is not, like you will not be able to see that particular variable. Okay, because that variable scope is only until this addition method. So when the control comes out of this addition method, your lifetime of that variable will be over. Okay, so that is actually called as scope of a variable or lifetime of a variable. So the scope of this dummy variable is local scope. Means only until this only inside this function block or only inside this method block, you'll be able to access the dummy variable. So that has a local scope right over here. But see, for example, you're defining some variable outside every method. Like for example, if you're giving int temp is equal to 10, if you're giving something as int temp is equal to 10, you can access it anywhere. You can access it anywhere. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think instead of giving here, we can give here. Yeah, see, when you try to use dummy here, it will prompt you an error stating that dummy cannot be resolved to a variable because this dummy the dummy variable has a local scope only inside this method block. There is when I have declared the temp variable globally. Okay, globally outside every method I have declared the temp variable, and when I try to retrieve the temp variable, no error is being prompted to me because my temp variable has a global scope. This is also called as a constant variable whose value will be not changing. Okay, so once the lifetime of a variable is over, it must be discarded, right? So that is actually carried out by a garbage collector. Usually in C and C++, you'll be having a free pointer. So once your variable or once you have used something, you want to free or you want to make the memory space deallocated for the particular variable, you'll be making use of the free keyword. You'll be making use of the free keyword, okay? But here automatically Java does it for you. So this is not something like you have to do all those things. And the remaining native method stack interface and the libraries are supporting tools for carrying out all this function. Okay, so this is the entire architecture of how a JVM actually works. So whenever you're writing a Java file, it gets compiled and then for execution it goes to the JVM, and then from there only it is being the output is being fetched. Okay, so this is all about the JVM. If you are having any doubts regarding the things which you have seen until now, you can let me know in the chat. Correct. Source code to bytecode. Yep. Compiler does this. Okay, so guys, do you have any doubts regarding this, are the concepts clear? Or if you have any doubts anywhere, you can let me know. This is actually nothing but this is like the back end things of how really the code works. I mean, how your code is being compiled, how your code is being executed, and it is giving the output correctly. It is the backend process what is happening. Okay, as a developer, you have to know how it works. Okay, but anyway, you're not going to work on anywhere this. Like if you're going to build your own compiler, okay, you'll use all these things. But it's good to know, right? Guys, you can let me know whether the concepts are clear to you or not, because I'm waiting for your response. If you're not getting things, you can let me know so that I'll again explain for you all. Can we get this session recordings? I hope so. I hope so. It is actually available in the channel, right? It's live only. Clear. Thank you, Shushma. Okay. So okay, before seeing how a Java code looks, let's take a short break. Okay, so at yeah, thank you, Gia. Like at 6:16, okay, at 6:16, take a 5 minute break. Go, hydrate yourself. Okay, at 6:16 we'll begin our session. Like we'll start from no, not how a Java code works. I'll be giving a small introduction on DSA, and then I'll come and start with Java code. Okay, I mean how actually Java code looks like and what is the meaning of writing public static void main and all. Okay, so guys, can we take a small 5 minute break? After 6:16, 1 6. Okay, like we'll begin the session. Is that fine, Shushma and Gia? Sharp 6:16. Please do join, guys. Okay, cool. Okay. Meanwhile, if you guys have any doubt, you can drop me in the chat. I'll come and clear things for you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, guys, I hope I hope the 5 minute break got over. Okay, so can we resume the session? Is everybody present? You I mean, like, you can just use some emojis and all, like, to let me know how was your Josh. Like, you can use some fire emojis and all. Okay, so guys, are you ready? Can we start with how a Java code looks? Okay, thank you, Gia. Okay, okay, Prashant. One second. Come, 1 second. Great. You people can use some fire emojis. No, just 1 second. I'll come. I'll come. Thank you, Sushma, for that fire emoji. Okay, so let's see how a Java code looks. Okay, I think you all have already seen like how it will be looking, but now we'll just see what is the meaning of all these things which we are writing. Okay, we are writing public static void main. What is that, and why we are supposed to write all those things? Okay, yes. So first of all, in the very first line, we have something which is called as package, right? Package means sorry, package means collection of classes. It is termed as package. Okay, for example, here if you take the example right over here, I'm having these much packages. For example, inside my package com dot and kirtana dot reservation dot tickets, I have all these classes. These are all my class, and these are all the structures. What is my class? What are the variables which I have, and what are their methods? Okay, so these are all the class collection of classes. It is called as package. And if I try to navigate over this files, everywhere I'll be having my package name as the very first line. Okay, so in main also you have the same package, fastness also I have the same package, which means collection of classes, it is known as package. Okay, so package will be your first line. Next line I have said you public class simple hello. This is the way you want to write your class, and every time your class must begin with a capital letter. Okay. And if you're using public keyword, then your file name and your class name must be same. You are supposed to write simple hello dot java. My mouse pad is not working. I'm using normal mouse, so I'll use this. Wait. Okay, so yes. So your class name, I mean your file name must be simple hello dot java. Then only your code works. Okay. And another thing here is you are having public static void main. You're having something called a string.args. Let's see what these things are. Okay. So first, public. Public is nothing but it is access modifier. Okay. And in Java we have four different kinds of access modifier, which is public, another one is private, another one is default, and another one is protected. Okay. I will show you. um I'll show you like access modifiers in Java. I'll show you the tabular column. Okay. Yes, here it is. Hmm. Yes, we have four different kind of access modifiers in Java, which is public, protected, default, and private. Okay. So you can define your access modifiers either to a variable or to a method as well. Okay. Access modifiers is you are going to define uh like if you are going to give some method as public, then it will be accessible from anywhere. Okay. If you want to import that from another package also, you'll be able to do all those things and all. Okay, so you are going to give some restrictions to your methods or variables according to the use case on which you're going to develop some application. Okay, access modifier is how or from where, what I mean, who and all must have access on that particular method. It is actually providing access. It is something like providing the permissions in, like permissions to a particular class or a particular variable or a method. Okay. Yes, so here it is something like if you are giving this modifier across what and all things you'll be having access. So that is only given over here. If you're using the word public, then you can use it from another same class from another. I mean same package across same. Across the classes which lies in. Under a same package you'll be able to access that subclass also. It will be able to be used means public. If you're giving something public, you can use it from anywhere. Okay, for example, if I'm using public means, yes, if I'm giving public class means I'll be able to make use of this passenger class in this class anywhere or across the classes, but which is lying inside a package or within package also. I'll be able to use that, or globally I'll be able to make use of that passengers class. If I'm going to use protected, I want to use the word protected keyword. I'll be able to make use of the class. If I'm going to give any protected variable means I'll be able to use that variable inside my class or inside my package, which is across my class. Subclass also it is allowed, but globally it is not allowed. Okay, because that is only given protected access. So globally I'll not be able to make use of that variable, but I'll be able to make use of that variable within the package and all. Okay, so that's not an issue. And if I'm not going to declare anything, if I'm not going to give anything, just like that, if I'm giving like something like this, just I'm giving int id, it is default. I have not specified whether it is private or public or protected. Automatically it will be taking the default modifier only. If I'm going to use default, I'll be able to use that method anywhere inside my class and anywhere inside my package. Okay. And it is not accessible at subclass and global level and all. And if I'm going to make use of a private variable, see, this is actually a simple reservation, like a it is something which resembles the IRCTC booking system, where I'm having a passenger class and the instance variables. I mean, the details of all the passengers, their ID, name, age, gender, preference, ticket type, seat number. So, if someone has given you a real time use case, a real scenario like develop a ticket booking system, I mean, railway or train ticket booking system with so and so berths available. Berth means that berth available and how many waiting lists are available and how many this that they have given. And if they are asking you to develop, you are supposed to develop with the help of the OOPS concept and design principles is there. We'll discuss that as well. Don't worry, okay? So, yes, I mean, why I have used this example is to define you where and all private must be used. Actually, when you take it in a, uh, like when you're seeing things in a broader sense, these and all comes under personal information of some person, right? So, name, their particular ID, age, and all, it is personal information of some person which must not be revealed or which must not be, which must be given a very, very high data security on those data, right? So that's why you're going with private keyword. So whenever you're using this variable, it is giving private access. We're using the private access modifier so that only within this class you'll be able to make use of this variables. But if you want to make use of these variables anywhere across the across the classes, which lies inside these are all the things, these are the personal information which must be given more security. So that's why they are given private access. Okay, so it is only those variables are able to be used only inside the same class. Remaining all, it will not be able to be accessed. Okay, so this is all about the access modifiers. Next thing is static. Static is actually a keyword. Okay, and it can be static can be given to both variables as well as methods. If you are giving it to variables, then I have already said you that it will be holding some constant value, and the value, the assignment of that static variables, the value assignment of those static variables will be happening only a single time and only during the class execution time. So once when your class is being executed for the very first time, or when your class is being loaded for the very first time, only then your assignment will happen. So that is all about in the case of a static variable. And when it comes to static method, okay, you can just give something like public class, right? Public static class passengers. Okay, I mean, this is if you want to build a static class, it is something like public static class passengers. This is the way how you'll define a static class. Okay, but the key difference between static classes and normal classes, see, I have already said you one thing. Like, if you want to access the methods or the variables of a particular class, you'll be able to use it only with the help of objects, right? So here, where was that? Once again, yep. Let's take this example. I have defined a class student, and I have certain methods. Addition method I have, and display method also I have. In my main method, if I'm going to if I want to make use of the display method or addition method or the variables inside my class, I'll be able to create it only with the help of, I'll be able to do it only with the help of creating objects, right? So here I have created an object for that particular class, and with that object only I'm calling the method which is available inside my class. So if I want to make use of the display keyword, I'll create an object for my class, and with the object only I'll be calling the display method. But if it's a static class, if it's gonna be a static class, then there is no need of creating objects. Directly you can call the class itself, directly you can call the method itself. So there is no need of creating objects. That is quite a difference between what is a normal class and a static class. Okay, and next is the return type. So this is actually the way how you have to define a method as well. Access modifier must be there, whether it is static or not, it must be there. Void is the return type, what your function is going to return. If your function is going to return anything integer variable, means you will be giving int over there. Okay, we'll be seeing the data types and all, don't worry. And here, as your function is not going to return anything, you're giving void. Void means nothing. And next, the green color main is going to be your method name. Main is the method name. And yes, your program can have only one main method, because only from there the complete execution starts. Okay. So next, string arguments. It is nothing but parameters. Like if you are going to give the inputs for the particular code in the command line itself, okay, that time you will be making use of the string arguments. Okay, this is nothing but an array of string objects. It is not restricted that like you want to use the args. It's not a keyword and all. It's the name of the array which is going to store a string values. Okay, array is nothing but array is a data structure. It's a linear data structure where the elements of same data type will be stored. Okay, so if you're going to give command line arguments, if you're going to pass your input in the command line, then it will be stored in the this array. Okay, so this is actually the simple structure of a hello program. Guys, are you clear with that? Are you clear with that? And now let's look into okay. Let's look into data structures and algorithms. Guys, are you ready? Yes. See, like, okay, how many people are learning DSA now? I mean, I just saw. Yes, Jia and Shushma. Okay. Other than that, how many people are learning DSA, or do you have any idea of what DSA is, or do you people don't know what DSA is? If anyone don't know, like you can drop me a message in the chat, like you don't know what is DSA. Guys, come on, like we still have only 30 minutes, so I'll be just giving you a small introduction of what DSA is, and again we'll continue with the Java session. And from tomorrow mostly it will be like coding session only. Today only it was completely theory, but of course I don't want to bore you people with all my theory stuffs, so I want to introduce the DSA and all, what DSA is, how things must be prepared, like if you people are preparing for interview, how you must concentrate on all those things. I don't know why people are not responding. Okay, so DSA is nothing but um, for people who are preparing for interviews, like they're going to check your problem solving skills and the way how you are thinking to solve a particular problem. Okay, so in that way, like, means in that regard, like DSA plays an important role. Okay, so it is nothing but where you'll be having certain data structures, okay, and certain algorithms using which you'll be able to solve the problems. Okay, and I used to follow Striver's DSA sheet. Guys, it's not a promotion or marketing and all I'm doing. While I was preparing for my interview, I used this sheet. Now also I'm using this sheet. I'm not preparing for interview, but still I'm using, because DSA skills are something that we must have it every time, and we must equip that. Okay, even though you're getting placed, you want to focus on DSA, because if you want to switch any companies, these things are going to help you a lot. Okay, so I used to follow Strivers A to Z DSA sheet. Okay, so where we'll be having, he'll be giving the topics along with the problems. Like if it's an array, easy questions, so there will be a continuity on all these problems, so you can go, and this is actually the article which is available right over here. So there are three approaches whenever you're solving a DSA problem. So if an interviewer is setting before you, once a problem is put forward, like the first thing what they expect is, first thing whenever you are, like whatever it may be, like if it is an face-to-face interview, the first thing is you have to think all the edge cases. You want to first understand the problem of what it is asking, what and all the data has been given to us, what is the thing which we are asked to solve, or what is the solution we want to build, and what are all the constraints which are given to us. And the next thing which you want to focus is how you're going to solve it. First, you want, and problem understanding is a basic thing. Like without all these things, you cannot just go and jump into the solution right over there. Okay. So first thing, you want to understand the problem. If you're not getting, no worries. Even for 4 or 5 times, you can, any number of times you can just go and like read the problem until you're getting clear. Okay, and look for the constraints, input constraints, everything they would have given. Okay, and test cases, they have given some sample test cases, but when you are thinking of your solution, you have to think of a generalized solution, okay, which actually covers all the edge cases as well. Edge cases means it is something special test cases as well. Okay, so you have to write a generalized solution where all your edge cases will also pass. Okay, and yep, so these are all the things. Okay, and then only you have to come out with, you have to look for the strategies to solve the problem. And very first time, interviewer will be just expecting you to solve the problem with the help of brute force method. Brute force is nothing but running each and every permutation combination, like to get the output. And the time and space complexity of brute force is actually high. Okay, so like you, brute force is nothing but it's something kind of a raw solution where you are going and checking every possibility, and then you're retrieving some answer, you're coming out with an answer or solution. So that is a brute force. Okay, so after brute force, you should optimize it. You have to come out with an intermediate solution which is not the most optimized one. For next thing is, you have to come out with intermediate solution which actually has time complexity and space complexity less than the brute force solution. And at last, you have to come out with the most optimized technique. And in order to come out with the most optimized technique, you guys want to explore a lot of data structures, because there are many data structures. Like, I mean, with the help of a simple for loop and array, you'll be able to solve a particular problem in the brute force approach. So, I mean, let's take a problem where the brute force approach, it deals with only arrays and looping statements. But if you want to solve that particular problem in the most optimized approach, you can make use of the stacked data structures which is already available. So in order to come with the most optimized solution, you have to know what is stack, okay, and how to use that. We do have stack, queue, all those things in Java as well, and we are having everything under collections class. I'll cover this as well, okay, because let's not waste much time on basics. Okay, yes, not. Java T Point is actually a good resource if you want to learn more about Java. Like, okay, yes. So yes, this is the entire collection class where you'll be having array list, linked list, stack, queue, all those things. So people who have some knowledge or who are from CSE background, and I guess most of you all from second year, right? So you people can start learning DSA from now, because it helps you a lot. Okay, because DSA is very vast, and but it will be following some patterns only. So if you are good at, if you are starting now itself, you'll be able to uh, master over it. Okay, so yes, these are all the different things which is available. With this, you can come out with an optimized way, or there are many algorithms like greedy, DP, and all. DP means dynamic programming and all. Okay, so yep, so you can follow Striver's DSA sheet, and I would like to show you the constraints I have said, right. Mm-hmm. Something like, wait, today's. Yes. If this is the question, okay, they would have given some example test cases along with the constraints of what is my input length, okay, and how, I mean, like all those things. Like you have to even keep an eye on this to come out with the best solution, okay, because whenever you're giving up your brute force approaches, the time complexity and space complexity will be high sometimes. So that time your brute force approach will turn, like will result in TLE, time limit exceeded error. Okay, I mean, to introduce the terms time and space complexity, time complexity is nothing but the like amount of time which a program takes apart from, yes, I mean the amount of time which your program takes in order to execute your complete code is the known as time complexity. Okay, and when it comes to space complexity, the amount of memory space which your program actually utilizes, excluding the input and the output spaces, how much space your program is utilizing, that is actually called as space complexity. Okay, so every time you have to optimize your time and space complexity to the maximum, so then only your solution is an optimized one. Okay, so don't worry, it's just an introduction. Like, yes, like Stivers sheet I was telling, right? Yes, Stivers sheet, you can go practice, like under every topic, like you'll be having many problems, you can go and practice it. If you want to follow, like you can just first go solve, try to solve on your own. If you're not getting things, you can come to his article and you can learn how it actually works, how the algorithm flow works, and you can try solving it on your own. And if you're not getting, you can just go to the YouTube link and you can have an access over it. The I mean, the channel name is Take You Forward. The channel name is Take You Forward. Okay, so this is not a promotion at all. I have used this, and if you guys are aware of any of the DSA sheets also, you can just drop it in comments so that I'll also make use of it if it suits me. Okay, I'm just giving you this DSA sheet. There are many DSA sheets available in the market, so go and search for the sheet which suits you, which in which you are feeling comfortable, you can proceed with that. And if you people have not like created coding profiles like Lead Code, Coding Ninjas, Interview Bit, there are many things, HackerRank, CodeChef, and all. You can go create one, but I suggest first create a Lead Code account because uh, there are many interview questions which are actually coming from Lead Code. So just like start creating your profiles on coding platforms and start solving. Okay, so this was a thing which I wanted to tell you about the DSA stuffs. Okay, next we'll be seeing about, guys, are you tired or are you bored? No, right? We are having 15 minutes. I'll complete the data types and the variables. Okay, and then we'll wind up. Like we'll see operators tomorrow. So I'll consume less time for operators and all because we want to cover more things when it comes to DSA and Java as well. So I'll cover the basic things quickly. Okay, guys, are you okay with the DSA stuff? Fatafat, like anyone can respond, yeah. Jia or Shushma, like Prashant, Meghna. Are you guys clear with DSA? Yes, okay. We haven't started anything, but I have just given you a quick overview of all those things. Yep, okay. So next thing is data types and variables. Okay, data types means like variable means it is actually going to be a container or a placeholder where you will be storing some value. Okay, data type means the type of value which your or the type of the data. So if it is a number, it will be calling it as int. So if your data has decimal point in it, we'll call it something as float. So depending on the inputs, the data which you are giving, it will be coming under different categories. Okay, so yep. So the data types in Java, it is broadly classified into primary data types and primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Okay, so under primitive we have non-numeric and numeric. Numeric means it will be involving numbers. Okay, so integer and floating point. Floating point means it has some decimal values. Okay, it will have some decimal values when it comes to floating point. Integer means only numbers. Okay, and in integer itself we have four different things. One is byte, short, int, and long. I'll be telling you why we are having these four variations when you want to store a simple integer value. Okay, and in float also we are having float and double. Why is it so? Means it all depends on the memory. Okay, means if you are taking the byte variable, I mean, like byte keyword, sorry, byte keyword, it also helps you to store integer value only, but byte, it like consumes only 8 bits. Guys, 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay, so here the size is given in bits. So if you are giving something as byte a is equal to 5, then for storing your for I mean the memory allocation for a, for storing the value 5, the memory allocated for a will be only 8 bits. Okay, and this is the range which is given until values which you can store. So I'm going to store only 5, which comes into this range, so I can use byte a is equal to 5. Instead of byte a, I can also use int a as well. Int a is equal to 5 also I can give. But if I'm giving in this way, for storing the same value 5, I'm giving int data type, right? So 32 bits is allocated for this variable a. 32 bits is allocated. Can you see the memory difference over here? Same value 5 only I'm going to store, but if I'm using byte, then 8 bits are allocated. I mean only 8 bits are allocated. But if I'm going on using int data type, 32 bits are allocated. Okay, so which is actually for storing storing smaller value, more memory space is occupied when I'm going to use int data type. I mean int type. So that's why for storing one integer value, four variations are given. So if you're going with byte, the range of values which you can store is from minus 128 to 127. If you're going to use short, the value ranges, it will be utilizing 2 bytes or 16 bits, and the value until this range you can store the values in short data type. Int, it is 4 byte, and the value which it's supposed to store is this value. For long, 8 bytes will be getting allocated, which is 64 bits. The value you can, if you want to store higher values and all, you can go with long. Okay. So even for floating data type, we are having two variations, which is float and double. If it is float, it is 4 bytes, 32 bits. If it is double, 8 bytes are allocated. And the precision is different. Like if you want to, like if you're using float, after decimal point until 7 digits you'll be able to store. The precision will be 7 digits after decimal point. If it is double, then after decimal point 15 digits precision will be there. So until 15 digits you'll be able to store the values. Okay, and next thing is non-primitive, means which does not use any numbers. We're having two variations right over here, which is boolean and character. Okay, boolean means true or false. T must be okay, true or false. True means, I mean, boolean means we will be having only two values which can be given to that particular variable. Boolean is also a data type where the values which they can occupy is either true or false. Okay, character, any symbol which is enclosed in single quotes. It can be a number, or it can be an special character, or it can be an alphabet, anything. And for boolean, one bit is allocated and true or false. And for a character, 2 bytes. 16 bits are allocated. Okay, and you can store anything. Like this is actually which is stored in a single quotes. Okay, and these are all comes under primitive data type. Non-primitive data type means string and array. We are having much more things. I'll define what is string. Okay, it is nothing but it is sequence of characters which is actually enclosed in double quotes. Okay, it can be a combination of digit, special characters, oh sorry, digits, special characters, alphabets, can be combination of anything. Okay, if I'm going to store my name, I'll be just giving string name, string name is equal to, in double quotes I'll be enclosing it, I'll be giving Kirti. And when I try to print, like s dot o dot p means system dot out dot println. I'm just using the short form here, but in coding and all you must use the entire statement. Okay, if I'm giving name means, then I'll be getting the value Kirti. Okay, we'll discuss about strings also in detail. An array is nothing but it is a linear data structure. Array, it is a linear data structure which is enclosed in square brackets. Okay, and in Python, list will be able to store elements which is belonging to different data types. But in Java, array refers to storing elements of same data type. So if I'm giving something like int arr is equal to 1, 2, and 3. If I'm giving something like this, I'm specifying the data type which my array must store, right? So only my array, this is my array name, and this is my array data type, means the data type of the elements which my arr array is going to store. So I have defined it as it defined it as an integer array. So only integer elements are being supported to be stored in my array. So similarly you can give character array, or tomorrow I'll be I'll come up with a good mousepad. Today my mousepad is not working. Okay, character array, or you can also give string array, or you can either go with boolean array, anything, integer array, float array, anything you can go with. Okay, but array is nothing but it is a linear data structure which allows you to store the elements of same data type. Okay, yes. Next is type of variables. So we have three different type of variables in Java. One is local, another one is instance, and another one is class. I have already defined you all these things to you. The variables that are declared inside the method is called local variable. Already we have seen an example, right? See here, dummy variable, I have defined it inside my addition method, which has a local scope, and that's why it is termed as my local variable. Okay. Instance variables means variables that are declared inside the class but outside the method. Temp, this is my instance variable, which has a global scope. It is declared inside the class. Inside student class only my variable is there, but outside the methods of my particular class it is present, right? This is instance variable. Temp is my instance variable. Here, roll number, name, this is another class, department class. Roll number, name, mark, and department is going to be my instance variables, which is actually declared inside the class but outside the methods. Okay, and another one is class variables. Class variables are nothing but the static variables. If you're giving static int is equal to a and all, so it is going to take the role of class variable. If I'm giving static int t is equal to 56, means it is actually considered as class variable because it is static and it can never be a local variable, because I have already said you, right? static variables initialization means the assigning values to a static variable. It is only possible only at the first time when your class actually gets executes and it gets loaded. So that's why it is known as a class variable. Okay, and this is normally how your variables are being stored in the heap memory. Okay, so here it is the data type of what your variable is going to support. Okay, so this is the way how you want to declare a variable. Int variable name 20. So which a variable is actually a placeholder to or a container to store values. So the data type of your variable, I mean the data type of your data which you're going to store must be defined first with a variable name next, and you have to assign some value to it. Okay, and these are the different types of variables, and inside the memory, inside the heap memory, your value is stored like this. And if you're having any questions regarding this, you can let me know in the chat. And this is quite a very easy thing. What is the size of int data type in bytes? In bytes, you want to tell what is the size of int data type. Guys, can you let me know the size of int data type? It's quite easy. Four byte. Good. Yes. So good. Yeah. Like size of the int data type is 4. Okay. I'll stop with this for today's session. Like tomorrow, from tomorrow, we'll continue the operators and we'll go ahead. Okay. Yes. So good, Prashant, and good. 4 bytes, and you're laughing, Sushma. What happened? Okay, guys. So, guys, do you have any doubts until the concepts which you have seen, or like I just need it's last like 1 minute. I just want you people to give me some feedbacks like of today's session. Like if I'm lacking somewhere, also you can let me know so that in my further sessions, like I'll try to improvise. Okay. I just want you people to drop the feedbacks of today's session. Yeah, good. 4. It's 4 bytes. Yep. So I just want you people to drop the feedbacks. It's my personal feedback. I'm not going to give it anywhere, though. Like, how was today's session, and are you people comfortable? And yep, with today, like, it's. I mean, I understand that it's a theory session, but as it was my introduction class, it was completely theory today, and from tomorrow we'll be completely delving into the coding stuffs. So, guys, just drop your feedbacks, okay, so that we'll wind up the session. And one more thing. Before coming to tomorrow's session, I want you people to go through small, it's not homework, but small thing like you want to learn, or if you already know, you want to revise and come the binary representation of numbers. Binary. Binary means zeros and ones, right? Okay, bits. If you are taking a particular number, how you will be representing in the form of zeros and ones, you have to find that and come. And you want to also revise like how to convert a binary to its corresponding decimal value and vice versa. So you want to learn how to you want to revise and come how will you convert a binary to its corresponding decimal value. Decimal value means normal number. Normal number will be having the base value 10. That's why it is termed as decimal. Okay, how you are going to convert a binary value to its corresponding normal number value or decimal value, and how you will be converting a decimal value to its corresponding binary value. You have to go through these things and you have to come before tomorrow's session, because it helps us when we are dealing with the bit representation of numbers or bitwise operators. We'll be making use of these things. So I want you people to go through the binary representation of numbers, how you'll be representing the numbers in terms of zeros and ones, and how you'll convert a binary number to its decimal format and decimal to its binary format. Okay. Okay. Nice explanation. Gained some knowledge about Java. Good, Sushma. really helpful lecture, easy to understand because of all the diagrams and charts. Thank you, Jia. Like we'll see more things and we'll learn more things from, I mean, like, yeah, from today itself. Okay. So yep, guys, I would like to wind up the session, today's session. So if you have any doubts, you can let me know in the chat, or else we'll wind up. Okay. So before coming tomorrow, you have to revise these concepts and come binary representation of numbers. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for patiently listening to my class. Thank you, guys. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sushma. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nayak.